This hour. Now, we're all in need of a bit of Christmas spirit, and Northern Ireland Children, a charity, is aiming to bring it to the lives of children who are unwell.
Plus, we also have the best of Liam Halligan's Money Talks interviews, where Britain's top business leaders and policymakers discuss their careers. Guests include Liz Truss, Lord Karen Billy Moria and Sir Martin Sorrell. But first, it's the news with Bethany.
Good morning, I'm Bethany Elsie. This is your news at 10 o'clock. Vaccination centres are open today as coronavirus cases continue to rise. Staff and volunteers are taking part in what's being called the Jingle Jab campaign. They'll also be delivering boosters and vaccines on Boxing Day. Daily COVID infections continue to climb, with more than 122,000 cases recorded yesterday. Meanwhile, government scientific advisors say COVID could be reduced by up to 54% if new restrictions are introduced in the next few days. A new paper models the impact of banning indoor socialising and returning to the rule of 6 outdoors. It suggests the measures should run from the 28th of December through to late March. Ministers are expected to make a decision early next week on whether to introduce any new restrictions. The number of staff shortages caused by the wave of Omicron infections is said to be putting heavy pressure on the NHS.
It has been intense. I would say this has been quite like a rapid, steep incline, which previously in the other waves it tended to feel a bit more we were able to predict it, but Omicron seems to have come on really quickly. We felt almost like we were coming to a point where things were getting better and improving, but just shows the nature of COVID and of Omicron specifically. You never can predict things, and it just, I think there's a sense of vulnerability amongst the staff members.
The Queen's annual Christmas message will be broadcast at 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's expected to be quite personal, with this being Her Majesty's first festive period without her husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, who died in April. A photograph released by Buckingham Palace shows the Queen alongside a picture of their diamond wedding anniversary taken in 2007. The monarch is spending this Christmas at Windsor Castle with the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall. The UK government has condemned the launch of ballistic missiles by Iran. During 5 days of military drills, Iran's Revolutionary Guard fired multiple ballistic and cruise missiles in the Gulf. The country's top military commanders say they were sending a warning to Israel amid concerns over plans to target Iranian nuclear sites. Iran maintains its nuclear ambitions are peaceful. The most expensive telescope ever will launch into space later. Costing $9 billion, the James Webb Space Telescope is 100 times more sensitive than its predecessor, Hubble. Liftoff was delayed due to bad weather, but it will launch this afternoon. Scientists believe the mission will transform our understanding of the universe, as it has the ability to scan images of different life forms and of the very first stars.
It is going to do something like we've seen with Hubble, with the Hubble Deep Field, where we stared at a blank part of sky and saw just so many galaxies, and it was incredible to know that all those galaxies were hiding there in the early universe, and we just needed to look long enough to see them. What Webb is going to do, it's going to push beyond that, and it's going to be sensitive to galaxies that are more distant and younger, that really formed closer to the start of the universe.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has donated $250,000 to help provide housing for war veterans in Los Angeles. The money has been used to buy 25 homes with beds and heating to help homeless veterans. In a tweet, the former governor of California says charity is what Christmas is all about. That's your news update. I'll be back in an hour.
Thanks, Bethany. Merry Christmas to you at home, and thank you so much for your company. Now, many of us are working today, like Brad and I, but also nurses, doctors and carers. But there are fresh warnings that unpaid carers are at risk of burnout, with almost 2/3 having not had a break during the pandemic. Our London reporter, Alice Porter, reports.
Over the last 2 years, we've clapped for carers, those in the NHS and those in our care homes. But there are more than 30 million unpaid carers across the UK, often working without any recognition. Vanessa Bowden is a full-time carer to her husband with MS and looks after her daughter with learning difficulties.
I haven't had a holiday for 8 years, I think it is now. I think it's about 8 years since I last went on holiday. Christmas Day, I'll probably be up around 4 a.m. to get my husband sorted, ready for coming down the stairs. And that's like an hour and a half's job to get him sorted. That's even before I get onto the stairs. And then it's a good 45 minutes to get him actually down the stairs.
James Townsend founded a company at the start of the pandemic which provides online support for unpaid carers. They've reached 150,000 people, including Vanessa.
Most carers primarily are just exhausted. The real challenge for Christmas is to try and make sure that you're keeping going with the things that you need to do every day, whilst combining that with the regular challenges of Christmas as well. So we're finding that bringing carers together online give them an opportunity to share those challenges with other people who recognise them, but also to lift each other up, share a bit of humour. That's a really key way to get through the Christmas period.
The government published their long-awaited white paper on social care earlier in the month and say they're putting an extra £25 million into supporting unpaid carers. But opposition MPs believe it doesn't go far enough.
Unpaid carers have been pushed to the limit looking after the people they love. Almost half hadn't had a single break for 5 years, even before the pandemic struck. But I understand the additional funding in the white paper amounts to just £1.60 more for each unpaid carer a year. Families deserve so much better than this.
Carers are often in need of more financial support, and like Vanessa, many just want some appreciation.
Acknowledgement that we do 24 hours a day job. You know, we have to be on call 24 hours a day. We don't get that recognition.
That was Alice Porter with that report.
Now, Northern Ireland Children is a charity that aims to bring some much-needed Christmas joy into the lives of children who are unwell. Our Northern Ireland reporter Dougie Beattie has the story.
Oh, Frosty the snowman was alive as he could be, and the children say he'd left and play just the same as you and me.
We have all cursed the restrictions of a COVID Christmas and just how it curtails our plans. But spare a thought for those who may not see another.
The Northern Ireland Children to Lapland Trust was formed 12 years ago, and for the past 12 years, well, in effect for the past 10 years, we've been taking a plane full of Northern Ireland children up to see Santa Claus up in Lapland. I say only 10 out of the 12 because last year and this year, I'm afraid COVID has affected us very badly indeed. It meant that last year we just couldn't travel to Lapland. It wasn't feasible to take over 100 children, seriously ill children, some terminally ill, to a very cold Lapland.
The innocence of the children's dreams were being brought to life on a flight to the Arctic Circle to see Santa.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle.
For those non-believers, the magic of Lapland is hard to deny. Brought by huskies, skidoos and yes, reindeers to an underground kingdom where ice sculptures, elves and train rides existed. The families of these seriously and terminally ill children shared an experience never to be forgotten.
It's been about mega memories for the three of them, the three children, so it has, and it's been absolutely amazing. It's like something out of a storybook.
Great, it's great to see all the wee ones, you know, isn't it? Getting to see Santa Claus, was it? Yeah. Good boy. Thanks.
For the past 2 years, this charity has only been able to deliver presents to the children who have had a struggle that most of us couldn't even imagine.
We got all the 110 kids that we were to bring. We got their names and addresses from all the health trusts, and we got them presents to the value of £200, and we distributed those to all the kids in their homes in the week before Christmas. We also get letters from Santa Claus and a video from Santa Claus individually to each of their homes.
I wish I could relive this every day about again.
Back in Lapland, there were gifts aplenty, the magic of the day and excitement in everyone's eyes was a gift that would never, ever fade. The charity is so eager to return to its dream-making flights and realises it brings much more to these children than the experience of the day.
We sometimes take these things for granted, and sometimes the feedback that we get really hits home. We had one letter from a mother and said how much it meant to her daughter to be singled out for this, but not only her daughter, the brothers and sisters, the aunts, the uncles, the grannies, their school friends, the whole community took great pride and joy in the fact that this little girl was going to Lapland, and she said it gave her confidence such a boost. And we maybe sometimes don't recognise just how much of an impact it can make.
As this very special Christmas flight kissed the Irish skyline on its homeward journey, it occurred to me that there were two very different emotions on board. Those of the parents who had made precious memories, and those of the children who had had their dreams come true. Douglas Beattie, GB News, Belfast.
Well, that was a lovely report from Doogie there, wasn't it? Now, in case you haven't noticed, it's Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to you. And we are taking it as an opportunity to thank our Christmas heroes. Now, Emma Balin is the founder and director of Shared Harmony's CIC. It's an organisation that's helped people connect throughout the pandemic through online singing. She joined GB News earlier.
So we help companies and communities to improve connection, confidence and well-being. And usually we do all that in person, but of course we couldn't during the pandemic. So we wanted to find as many ways to keep people connected as possible. A lot of our community participants were already very isolated. A lot of them have long-term health or well-being conditions such as Parkinson's, dementia, poor mental health, respiratory conditions. So we came up with all sorts of ways to keep people connected. So we did song teaches and posted sing-along videos on Facebook and YouTube. We created sing-along DVDs, some songs with actions and various things for our participants with dementia that we posted out to them. We did co-creative songwriting projects where we actually encourage people to help us create the lyrics and the music and the videos to brand new pieces of to brand new songs. And we did weekly Zooms. So we did various things all the way through the pandemic, giving people numerous touch points through the week to keep that sense of community. And actually our community has grown stronger than ever, and it's just been an absolute joy.
Oh, that's Emma Balin. She's the founder and director of Shared Harmony CIC. She's been helping people to sing online during the pandemic. It's lovely, isn't it?
Amazing,
really nice.
amazing.
Now, in case you haven't noticed, it is Christmas Day. That's why you're joined by your Christmas pudding and your Christmas angel as well. And we want to know, what are you up to today? gbviews@gbnews.uk. Send us your pictures. Are you stuffing a turkey right now? Are you prepping your veg? Are you already fighting with the in-laws? We want to know, don't we, Brad?
We really want to know. And I've got to say, I'm going to be celebrating Christmas for the first time with the one and only.
Yeah, we're spending Christmas Day together. So
We actually are.
Hopefully it's a good one. I'm quite
I want to
nervous about
see
this.
what your turkey skills are like later.
I know. I've got enough food for about 20 people, but we do know there are a lot of people celebrating alone today, aren't there?
Yeah,
so we're very lucky to be together, aren't we?
And we're very lucky, and I know that you're on it because you've already been telling me about the timings. You've got the turkey and the veg and everything. So I'm expecting military position when I get to yours a little bit later.
Yeah, we've got all of that to look forward to. But we've got lots coming up. We've got a special show for you between 12 and 2 this afternoon, so make sure you stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that one. Now, coming up, the one and only Liam Halligan has his best interviews with Britain's top business leaders and policymakers discussing their careers. Big guests include Liz Truss, Lord Karen Billy Moria and Sir Martin Sorrell. But first, here's your weather.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Hello, Merry Christmas. A festive frost to wake up to if you're in Scotland. It will be cold throughout today in the north and the east, wet elsewhere and fairly mild in the southwest. Big contrasts across the country at the moment. We've got cold air sinking south across northern parts of the country, the dividing line being this weather front. And this weather front brings milder and wetter conditions to the southwest. So outbreaks of rain throughout much of the day, I think, for Wales, into parts of central southern England, the southwest. The rain on and off, but heavy and persistent at times. Further north, staying dry for the time being, but rather cloudy for Northern Ireland, much of northern and central England, East Anglia, and further north again, sunny spells for Scotland and parts of northern England. Cold in the north, feeling even colder in the strong wind which we'll see across the north and especially over hills. Much milder further south, 11 or 12 Celsius in the southwest, but not feeling very pleasant because of the wet weather throughout much of the day. That rain, though, does march north through the Christmas Day night, and it's likely to mix with the colder air further north. And so over the Pennines, the higher ground of central and southern Scotland, above 300 or 400 metres, the risk of disruptive snow and even some drifting because of the strong winds accompanying that snow. So some tricky conditions on some trans-Pennine routes and the higher parts of southern and central Scotland first thing tomorrow. Drier and brighter, but rather frosty to start things off for the north of Scotland. And for Northern Ireland, Wales, Western England, showers on and off with some brighter spells in between. Staying mild in the southwest, 11 or 12 Celsius once again on Boxing Day. Much colder further north and east, and any rain or hill snow tending to fizzle out later. There'll be some rain and hill snow again on Monday here and there, but otherwise a good deal of cloud and many places turning drier by Tuesday. And then from the middle of next week, it becomes much milder.
Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else, I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Join us for the Political Correction. We're here every Sunday to correct politics and put you, the people, back in charge.
We talk about all areas of the United Kingdom, including Northern Ireland.
Our debate goes way beyond the Westminster Village. It's about the real country. It's about your opinion. So please, we want you to tell us what you think.
This is the Political Correction.
Every Sunday morning from 10 a.m. here on GB News.
You're watching GB News live across the UK, the world, and our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We're here for you. Don't forget to join our community by hitting the subscribe button.
And download the GB News app so you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you. Email us at gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
Welcome to On the Money with me, Liam Halligan. Each weekday at 1, I host a detailed discussion of a key economic or business issue. When will interest rates rise? Can nuclear or even hydrogen technology help us solve our energy crisis? How can my kid afford a house? A whole range of topics, debated in a detailed yet highly accessible way, right here on GB News. Now, each On the Money episode features an in-depth Money Talks interview with a key policymaker or business leader. My first Money Talks guest back in early September was Graham McDonald, Chief Executive of JCB. I asked the boss of one of the UK's most iconic manufacturers about his outlook for the British economy.
So I'm very optimistic. You know, if you wanted to buy a machine today, depending on what type, the earliest I could make it is probably May next year.
Wow.
So, and when I looked... Big demand, and it's not artificial. Sometimes people say without... People panic buy or panic order, but when I actually interrogate the orders we've got, they've all got customer names to them. They've all got work behind them. So I'm very optimistic. I think there's a number of potential threats, you know, whether we have another wave of COVID, which has an impact on people's confidence in the economy. That could well happen, but the government, I think, are on top of that, and I think we've just got to crack on with the economy and with business. So that, and the other big risk, I think, is inflation. You know, inflation is running on the basket of goods measured by the government still about 3 or 4%. Reality to our business, since the 1st of January, steel has doubled. It's gone from 560 euros a tonne to 1,100 euros a tonne.
And you use a lot of steel?
We use 600,000 tonnes a year.